Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. Ex-girlfriend cheated with a coworker. I met my ex on a chat roulette when I was about 16. Yes, chat freaking roulette. She was 15, and my freaking gosh, was she drop dead gorgeous. We clicked hard. The chemistry was so good. So we exchanged Snapchats. Our conversation started off steamy as hell. We were both very horny, even though I had only had sex once by that time, and she was still a virgin. But hormones are hormones. We talked about sneaking into each other's houses and just screwing the night away, or whatever we thought sex really was at the time. The best part of the whole thing was she was only an hour away. We would talk literally every day and FaceTime every night, falling asleep to each other's faces. She was everything I thought about. I fell for her quick. We saw each other for the first time. It'd be a month after we met. Yeah, I'd take her local transit to see her. I'd just gotten a job at the time, so I thought, yeah, I'll use it to take my butt to see her. Our relationship quickly turned sour. She was a very bad liar. My intuition was really good at telling me something wasn't right. There's a lot of crap that went down over the course of 4 years. It was a toxic on and off relationship till ultimately we broke it off for good. Fast forward to this year. I'm 21 and she's 20, and we reconnected after being apart for a year. It was very sensitive, but I had done a lot of self-reflection and healing over the course of the year. Therapy had done me wonders. I would like to consider myself a different person from what I used to be. When we met to talk it out, seeing her again was scary. All the thoughts about us getting back together came flooding my mind, and I was just in awe to see her again. It was a good night. We got closer, and slowly we got the ball rolling. After a month of talking and stuff, she moved in with me. Yes, I know, a month. But with the history we had, the time apart and the healing, it felt right. And my God, I was so healthy. I moved out of my mom's place during that time my ex and I were apart. It wasn't the best of places, but it was mine and I could afford it with the money I made. I love it here. It's my home. Anyway, she moves in, about a week to settle in. She didn't bring much, a few boxes and her TV. Left her dog with her parents since my manager doesn't allow pets. It was perfect. We had some minor fights here and there. Valentine's Day was perfect. We'd have sex almost every day, go on dates once a week, had our time for herself to go out with friends and work. You could say we were in routine and basically a stereotypical married couple. Now, 2 days ago, I was home, had the day off, so I spent it just playing video games waiting for my ex to come home from work. Or so I thought. She hadn't responded to my text of, "When you coming home?" I knew the place she works at closes at 7:30 on weekdays. It was 8. The drive to work from home is only about 25 minutes. I figure she might have caught traffic due to a car crash or something, but it felt like she would have texted back if something came up. It was 9 and still no response. As I was about to double text, bam, there she is walking to the door. I asked why she didn't respond to my text, gave me a BS answer of, "My phone died." And I said, "The message sent though." She was quick to answer with, "I was about to respond when it died. I was going to tell you my boss wanted me to stay to help housekeep the store, and he'd pay me overtime, so I took it." I thought nothing of it. She kissed me, went to the kitchen for grub, and I went back to playing video games. As I was headed to the bathroom, she asked me if I was going to crap. I told her yeah, as she threw probably the whiniest little fet I had ever seen her throw. It was one of those cute little things she'd do whenever she wanted me to spend time with her, but I'd have to do something. She'd done this a few times during the 4 years we were together, except this time, she got mad. She started saying that I spent too much time to crap, and that it genuinely irked her. I thought she was joking at first, but she continued, saying it was one of the things I hate about you. I was in face. I just stood there at the doorway of my bathroom staring at it because I was in shock. She stormed into the room and literally freaking slammed the door. I was so confused at what the F just happened. It was completely out of nowhere, and I was like, in shock. I was sitting on the toilet thinking, what the F was that all about? Thinking it might be that time of the month or something, or maybe she was just sex deprived because she hadn't had sex in a couple of days. That's genuinely what I thought. I was contemplating on what to do, talk to her or assume it was just dick withdrawals and give her the pipe. I finished, and she was just lying there on her side of the bed facing the wall. I tried to touch her, and she rejected me. "The F is your problem?" "Yeah, my problem." "Are you for real pissed because I just want to crap and shower?" "Yes." At this point, I think she'd going extra petty princess or whatever because I thought that the reason was ridiculous. So I tried baby talking and sexy talking. "Me little baby," you said. "F off." Someone hasn't gotten it. I think they're mad." No. I think so. So then I lean in and start whispering in her ear that she wanted it bad. And she yelled at me saying, "Oh, F off." I froze. She turned back, round, and said goodnight. I sat there, and I had the worst effing gut feeling in the world. My intuition told me something is very wrong and it's not with me. In a matter of seconds, I put it all together. Something was in the cards that we were going to just have sex, just because we hadn't the last couple of days. We're a very wanted couple, and it was weird if we went more than 2 days without doing it. I snapped. I told her to take her pants off. What the F? No. Take your effing pants off or I will kick you out of this effing house now. I knew probably thinking like, dude, what the F? You're toxic as F. But hear me out. My intuition. During the 4 years we were together, we were never wrong. Even when it comes to other crap that didn't involve her, it was always right. It never failed me. I've always seen it as divine protection. I know this doesn't justify my actions to do this. This damn near sounds rapey. But I did it this way, and what happened happened. I don't want to have sex. Oh, it's not for sex. I just need to see your private part. What the F? What? You can effing wicks? No, this isn't the part you effing tried to deflect. For starters, you don't even wear pants to sleep. You sleep in your underwear. You've been doing this since you moved in. Yeah, it's freaking hot tonight. Show me the effing stains on your underwear. She choked. I'll admit, the stains on the underwear was a long shot, but it landed dead center in the target. She'd had sex with people before unprotected. That figured that would have never changed. She liked it raw, regardless of the potential health consequences. What? Show me your effing private part. Her name. Why? Because I need to see it. At this point, I calmed down, but I'm visibly shaking. My anxiety was to the roof. Please don't do this. I need you to show me. At this point, she knew I knew something, and she starts to tear up. I don't want to. I need you to leave. No, I don't want to. Please, let's just go to bed. If you don't, I'm going to call your parents to pick you up. Anyway, we go at it back and forth for about a couple minutes, and we're both at just a crying mess. But eventually, she takes him off, and there it was. My heart freaking shattered. The smell of sex freaking slaps me across the face, and I could see there were obvious cum stains on her underwear that could not be mistaken for discharge. Her private was still even a little wet from hours ago of being railed in the back of her coworker's car. I say this because she told me she had sex with him as she was taking them off. I don't know freaking why she didn't think to shower and change when she got home. I think she was still riding high from it. After a few seconds of processing it, I just stared at her, red-eyed poker face, as she looked down at herself ashamed. I said nothing, and we sat there for what felt like hours, even though it was only a few minutes. I felt my heart putting itself back together and my tears drying up. I was fine. It stopped hurting. I don't know what it was. I was breathing normally, and I spoke. I said, hey, and I reached for her face. It's okay. And she broke down, crying even harder than before. But I felt nothing. It was like the pain I was just feeling vanished. I tried to kindly shush her down, telling her it was okay, that she didn't need to cry anymore. She kept trying to tell me how sorry she was, and that it was stupid, and that she'll never do it again, and that she'll quit her job and yada yada yada. I just kept telling her everything will be fine. It took a bit of time, but eventually I coddled her to sleep while she was crying. After she went to sleep, at about maybe 1 in the morning, I had the most peaceful sleep on my rusty couch after setting my alarm to 8:30 a.m. I woke up to see her still asleep, and I started preparing breakfast. I love to cook. She wakes up at around 9:30 a.m. to take her birth control, and she comes to the kitchen to find me waiting for her with French toast, bacon, and over an easy egg set on the table. I timed it just right for when she woke up and the food was still warm enough to eat. She looked like a mess. Puffy eyes, scrappy hair, a short rugged skirt, and I even noticed she put fresh underwear on, assuming she cleaned herself. I told her to sit and eat in a sincere manner. She looked like she was about to cry again already. I started eating and asked her what her plan for the day was, like last night didn't happen. And then the waterworks started up again as she took the first bite of her food. She said, "What are you going to do to me?" I told her I wasn't going to do anything. It just made breakfast for us before I had to work. That was a lie. I had gotten the day off work after texting my boss what happened and that I really needed a day. They surprisingly responded very quickly and said that they understood and told me to do what I needed to do. She asked if we were going to talk about it. No, it's okay. I'm over it. What? Dad, it's okay. Don't worry about it. She tried to get me to say something about what happened last night, and I got out, looked her dead in the eye, and in the most caring way possible said, "Drop it, okay?" She was slightly crying and eating her food, and I cleaned up the kitchen. When she was done, she brought her plate to the sink. As I was almost done washing dishes, and she embraced me from behind, wiping her face on my shirt. I turned around and hugged her. I asked her what she was going to do for the day, and she said she was going to quit her job. I told her not to, but she said that she wanted me to trust her, that she would never do anything like that ever again. But I insisted that she needed the job, that she needs the money because I couldn't help pay for things she needed. She asked me if I was sure. For what I was about to do? Yes, I was sure. She proceeded to try to reassure me that she'd cut all contact with a coworker and that she'd strictly only talk to him at work. I said, okay. Then she continued on about how she'll give me all her passwords or whatever, and told her that she didn't have to, but she pleaded to me that I'd let her. I think this was all just a way to get her to feel better about herself. Before I left, she begged that we'd talk about it after we both got home because she wants to know what was going through my mind and how I was taking it so well. I told her okay. She said I love you right before I walked out the door. I didn't say it back. I left the house at around 10:30 for work, as she left the house at 11:30 since she worked at 12. I parked a bit away from my apartment. I know I've said house, it's just easier to call it that, but it's an apartment. Far enough to be seen, but close enough to watch cars leave. After I see her car leave the complex, I raced to the nearest Home Depot and buy a few moving boxes. Get home and call up my best friend. Catch her up. She races over to my place to help me. The moment she steps in, she embraces me asking if I'm okay. I told her I was honestly fine and that I was just done. We both start neatly packing her things, getting everything in my car and hers, and drive up to my ex's parents' house, which wasn't as far as it used to be. I didn't think to call them, I just acted. I knock on the door, and my ex's dad answers the door confused. I know he was a stay-at-home dad, as to why I was there and his daughter wasn't. I get him up to speed as to what went down. He wasn't surprised. He completely understood and was willing to take her stuff in. I told him I wasn't mad or anything, that I genuinely was okay. I was just done. I get home and realize I forgot her freaking TD, so I made a second trip to drop it off. My ex texted me on her break asking me how I was. I told her I was good, but a little busy at work at the moment. Said I was off soon, and if she could call me right when she was off work. She said okay. I spent the rest of the day with my best friend just doing some normal crap because, well, I was dead ass fine. We watched a movie and every once in a while, a best friend would ask me if I was good. I'd laugh it off, reassuring her that I was. My ex calls me at around 7:35ish, pretty much when she got off work, and said she was coming home. I told her to meet me at her parents' house, and she panicked, asking me why. I told her everything was fine, and that she'd just meet me at her parents' house. I don't think she realized my apartment key was missing from her carabiner till she got to her parents' house. I had taken it back that morning. Anyway, I blocked her on everything. I got quite the many phone calls from an unknown number and countless messages from a bunch of random letters on Instagram. But I deleted them all and just proceeded to completely shut her out of my life. I haven't heard anything from my ex's dad or mom. I got calls from my mom asking what the F happened because she was receiving spam messages from my ex. I got her up to speed, and pretty much anyone else I knew that knew my ex. Told them to just pretty much ignore her and let her know that I will no longer be participating in her life, nor will she in mine. And that's that. This took me dang near 2 hours to type, holy crap. My best friend told me I should take it to Reddit. I happily agreed, so here I am, telling you my story. I know it's long and a complete but I don't know what to tell you. I'm honestly okay. I don't know why, but I'm not hurt at all. I got over it so fast it's kind of scary to think about. It's like someone grabbed all that pain I felt the moment I found out and just threw it away. Don't get me wrong, it's still very fresh in my mind and I can't stop thinking about how good we were and how blindsided I was by this, but overall, I'm happy. I'm glad I didn't waste any more with her, and I'm glad I feel the way I do right now. I don't want to be hurting with this crap. I got 60 more years to live. I don't want to waste any chunk of it dwelling on how she cheated on me. Good riddance.